All right. Good morning. Welcome to our flight from Hilton Head, South Carolina to Norfolk, Virginia. Just about, I'll guess about 23 minutes landing. Should be getting our descent instructions momentarily. Beautiful flight today. Beautiful weather. Just a beautiful fall day on the eastern seaboard. Gorgeous. Windy, however. Had a good wind taken off out of Hilton Head, 15 knots or so. And as you can see now, look at this tailwind. 58 knot tailwind, not bad. Started out much more modest, 22, 25, and it's just been steadily increasing. And now about 60 knots, so pretty good. No turbulence, no chop, clear. I think the term they use is CAVU, ceiling and visibility unlimited. I mean, just as far as the eye can see. It makes me long for fall. We don't have fall where I live in LA. I think it's, I'm looking at my weather station display right now. It's 82 degrees outside. And it is 10:36 local time. 10:36 in the morning, and it's 82 degrees outside on October 17th. What a shame. Outside air temperature right now is minus 38, but we're at 31,000 feet, so that's hardly surprising. Tailwind up to 59 now. See, should get our descent instructions soon, I expect. I hope. We're 107 nautical miles from our destination. At this speed, only 17 minutes, but that'll drop. This, you notice this weird thing? See this? Look. I've never seen this before on this MFD display. It's like a weird outline. Down to 210, Dave Frisky Bravo.
Descend and maintain flight level 210.
Well, as I suspected, we got our descent instructions. So let's begin our descent. We'll throttle back because we are really moving. Descend at 1,500 feet per minute. We're really we're moving. We're doing 376 knots across the ground right now. So you do the math. It's like 410 miles an hour. 100 miles from our destination. So do a few other of our usual procedural things here. I'm going to enter our ILS frequency. We are landing at the ILS runway 5 at Norfolk. Winds are out of the northeast, so that's should be all right. Go ahead and enter the ILS frequency again, 109.1. There happens to be a VOR DME at the airport. Doesn't always happen, but when it does, I'm happy because it gives me one more way to confirm both my distance to destination and my place in space. Sounds like a nightclub. Descending now at a flight level 290 or 210. Again, you see what I mean? Beautiful day. High enough that you can almost see the curvature of the Earth. 31,000 feet. Almost see it. Over Eastern Virginia. Was monitoring on FlightAware some of the other airplanes that are being heard from in real time in sim. Delta flight from Mexico City to JFK. American Airlines flight from Philly down to Orlando. took off just about 90 seconds, 2 minutes ahead of another guy from Hilton Head who was headed down to Peachtree DeKalb, right outside Atlanta, another general aviation airport outside Atlanta. It's kind of neat. I actually could see him out my window. He was behind me, maybe I don't know, 400 or 500 yards, taxiing behind me, and took off behind me. Information regarding our approach again, runway 5, ILS runway at Norfolk. Runway length is 9,000 feet, so lots of room to work with. Airport elevation is 27 feet, right at sea level. Obviously Norfolk military base, Navy base there. The approach course to runway 5 is 047. Our minimums are 440. Go ahead and enter our minimums, parametric minimums. 440. 440. Now you see it says right there, Vero Min 440. Going to increase our descent rate a little bit because we're still moving. You see our tailwind now up to 61 knots. I don't want to overshoot the airport, so really going to try to throttle back here. I wish this thing had speed brakes. I guess technically its speed brake is the propeller. If I were to drop down to idle right now, or at least ease down to idle, I don't want to shock cool the engine, but if I were to... Oh. 2385 there, Bravo.
123.85 for Docker Trey Whiskey Bravo.
Washington Center, this is Derek Whiskey Bravo with flight level 245, flight level 210.
Whiskey Bravo is at flight level 245, descending flight level 210.
November 343 Whiskey Bravo, Washington Center. Continue to Charlie Victor, India as planned.
Showing 74 miles to the airport right now. Still really moving, 365 knots, 364 knots. Trying to slow us down. If I was at flight idle, that is just basically move the... Whoa! I accidentally touched the pitch trim because of the stupid mouse wheel. If I were to just bring this down, throttle control down to... If I bring it down low enough, I'll start getting the landing gear alert, which I don't want to deal with. But by manually handling it like this, instead of using my flight stick, it does allow me to slow us down, which is handy. And slow down I need to. "13 minutes at our current speed, which is rapidly dropping, thankfully. Still 56 knot tailwind. We're almost down to 210, so I expect a further descent instruction here momentarily. We've entered our ILS information. Let's go ahead and activate that and the VOR information on the PFD settings. Bearing 1, no data as expected. Bearing 2, 65.8 nautical miles from the airport. All consistent with where I believe us to be, and consistent with our ForeFlight app. There's our further descent instructions.
Descend and maintain 11,000 feet, Docker Tree Whiskey Bravo.
Down to 11,000. We're looking good so far. Airspeed's more under control now. It's actually kind of handy to be able to manually use this instead of my flight stick.
Cessna 13 Hotel contact Washington Center on 135.5.
Looking okay though right now. Showing 165 knots.
Contact Washington Center on 135.5.
In terms of the waypoints on our approach,
Contact Washington Center
See Kaylee? Kaylee right there? Right there, Kaylee. At Kaylee, we need to be at 2,100 feet. At PA, or whatever you want to call that, PA is, we need to be at 1,600 feet. The distance from this waypoint to this waypoint is 6.4 nautical miles. The different distance from PA to the airport, which is KORF, is 4.8 nautical miles.
118.75 for Southwest 6908.
So we're looking good. Airspeed's 172. That's good. Down below transition altitude now. I should be receiving from my ForeFlight app momentarily a altimeter, closest altimeter information setting. There it is, 3035. We'll go ahead and do what we usually do, and that is enter 3035. By the way, high pressure, 3035, associated with very nice weather. 3035. Now we'll press the B key. Just keep an eye right there. Let's see how accurate it is. B. 3031. All right, very good. Very good. Kind of fun when, or I always enjoy it when the sim, that the weather that the sim is using is consistent with real weather. Which, I mean, I'm not in Eastern Virginia right now, Northeastern Virginia right now, but this apparently looks to be a very nice day. Still with a 40 knot tailwind. Still doing 263 knots across the ground. Showing us just 12 minutes from our destination, 52 nautical miles. Again, as we continue to slow, I would expect that to be more about like 15 or 16 minutes. Our original scheduled arrival time was, and I wrote it down, was, what did I say? 11:05 Pacific time. That's where I am right now. Hey, it's Saturday. 14:05 Eastern. 2:05 p.m. 18:05 UTC. So we'll see how close we come to that. We might be a little ahead of schedule with this awesome tailwind that we ended up with. Still no data on the ILS snap 1 frequency setting, which I would not expect yet. We're still 48 miles, but this should activate within, oh, I don't know, 20. We should start seeing something here within 20 miles of the airport. Showing 47.3 nautical miles from Norfolk. After we land at Norfolk, we will go to this little shop. You know, whenever I plan to go to a place, I sniff around to try to make the experience as real as possible. And we're going to be stopping by the Perry Glass Studio. The Perry Glass Studio. I have to pick up some artsy-fartsy thing. And then maybe we'll have a quick lunch. Kind of a late lunch. 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Late lunch. Early dinner. Call it what you want. And then we're off for, after a very short break, off to Nashua, New Hampshire. Specifically, Warfield, B-O-I-R-E. B-O-I-R-E, Warfield. Nice little GA airport right there on the Massachusetts border. Leveling out now at 11,000. Bring our airspeed back up. Don't let it sink too much. Showing 11 minutes still. Ground speed 225 knots. Not that that matters. True airspeed's 199. Knots indicated 167. Interesting approach because we're flying northeast and the runway is oriented northeast. You can see it's as straight in as it gets. Boom. There's no turns, there's no goofy weird approach. It's just straight in. Go ahead and zoom in here, speaking of that. I'm still a little perplexed by this weird outline of the airplane, sort of superimposed on another version of the airplane. I don't know. I've not seen that before. I don't know where that came from. At 11,000, I'm not getting any further descent instructions, which I'm finding increasingly concerning. We should have been told to descend further, so this may be an example of ATC not working. I don't know why we have not been told.
Dollar Tree Whiskey Bravo descend and maintain 2,100 feet.
Jesus. Take your time, why don't you?
Descend and maintain 2,100 feet. Dollar Tree Whiskey Bravo.
Down to 2,100. Okay, down to 2,100. Wow, I was starting to sweat there. We really should have gotten that descent instruction sooner than that. 2,100, again, if you recall what I said earlier, as far as the altitude at Cayley right here. The altitude, according to the approach plate, the published FAA approach plate, the altitude we need to be at Cayley is 2,100. I'm very impressed by how
Landing gear.
Dollar Tree Whiskey Bravo, you are 3 miles southwest. Maintain present heading and altitude. Expect vectors. ILS runway 5 approach.
Maintain present heading and altitude. Expect vectors. ILS runway 5 approach. Tower Tree Whiskey Bravo.
You find that funny how they tell you to maintain your present heading and altitude, and yet they 5 seconds before gave you descent instructions. Anyway, so looks beautiful out. Little cloud cover, but nothing problematic. Why am I not descending? Are you seeing what I'm seeing? Look. This is what is going on? Our displays have frozen. I have to use my backup display. I have to use the backup display. Okay, this is, I would call this an emergency. Why the hell are my alternate stats? This is a first, gang. My displays have frozen. My airspeed is frozen. My altimeter is frozen. All information on my PFD is frozen. I still have a backup screen here. Current altimeter speed. And we're still showing DME information in terms of how far we are. I don't know how to shallow us out. I mean, it looks like it's responding when I shallow us out. Holy mackerel, what do I do? This is a first. I have not pre-programmed in any emergencies. What? I gotta use just this to handle this approach. That is not a good situation. It's completely frozen. You see this? Look, it's frozen. And yet this isn't frozen. I'm still getting data information as far as distance goes. We know our altitude's at 4,200 right now, descending conservatively. Airspeed's okay, 178. If I didn't have this, we would be in a major league shitstorm, my friends. Let's see. Well, I'm going to try something here. And if I regret it, it's your fault. I want to try to restart. How do I restart? All right, here we go. Shit. I thought that by resetting the battery, that it might restart the streams. This is going to be a real challenge.
Going to 118.9er Docker Tree Whiskey Bravo.
I am still getting distance
Norfolk
information.
approach Conquer, November tree
But
4
all of
Whiskey
this is
Bravo
frozen,
to
and this is the first time I've ever had this happen.
2,100 feet.
I know I need to descend to 2,100 feet.
November tree 4
I'm at
Whiskey
3,200
Bravo,
feet.
Norfolk approach, continue as planned. Altimeter tree 0.31.
Boy, that's a lot of trees. I would not want to try to land here. I'm just telling you guys, I've never encountered this before. I don't know if this is an in-sim bug, where the whole MFD or this portion of the MFD screen or PFD screen freezes. I feel like I have enough information still available to me, thank God for this, to be able to handle this approach. Showing us 7 minutes 20 seconds right now. I wish there was a way I could restart this, or if there is, I don't know how to.
Dare tree Whiskey Bravo, please expedite your descent to 2,100 feet.
Hey, bear with me. If I could declare an emergency, I would. Just looking at our circuit panels here. AP servos. No, I do not want to lose AP right now. PFD 1. Oh, shit. It's inoperable. I
Dare
can't...
tree Whiskey Bravo, you are 18 miles southwest of Norfolk. Maintain present heading and altitude. Contact Norfolk Tower on 120.8.
Wow, this is a real challenge. Okay, because we're...
Maintain present heading and altitude.
I would have declared an emergency at this point, obviously. I tried our alternate static source.
Norfolk Tower, Docker, November tree 4 tree Whiskey Bravo 17 miles southwest inbound ILS runway 5 approach.
Oh, god damn it.
Dare November tree 4 tree Whiskey Bravo, Norfolk Tower. Cleared ILS runway 5 approach.
I just have to watch this.
Altimeter tree
See this?
0.3,
That's
1
all that's
0
keeping me
units.
safe right now. Normally, I would have ILS
Cleared ILS
information.
runway 5 approach Docker tree Whiskey Bravo.
I don't know what I would do right now if the weather was shit. I mean, I'd be screwed. There's the airport. Right there. Well, this is alarming. I did not pre-program in any errors. You can do that in this game, by the way. I have no way of knowing where my altitude is. Normally, you know, I point to the CDI to help us laterally, to the diamond, would be a green diamond in this instance, to let me know if I'm high enough. I have none of that. None of that. So, we're at 1580. We know we need to be at 1600 at... We're coming up on Cayley, at which we should be at 2100. So I'm going to disengage the autopilot. We're going to go old school on this one. And all I have is this. This is really crazy. If this was... Oh, hey, look, it's back! It's back! It's back! It somehow was linked to the autopilot or something. Activate the APR. Oh my god. I don't know what that was all about, ladies and gents. I don't know what that was all about. Did you see how it cycled through? Now it's back. Airspeed's back. We got glide slope information. Glide slope's above us. Let's go Gifley. Gear. We'll put down now. Oh my god. Inertial separator. Flaps. We'll do once this green diamond comes to that first notch. Fuel's okay. Got 26 and 25 in left and right. Looks good. Lights, landing lights. And we'll deactivate our yaw damper. Well, I don't know what that was all about. I am going to have to study and restudy this You see, it's an absolutely beautiful day, but you can also see we're bouncing around because of the wind, which I'm showing coming from this way. So we will have a crosswind on this landing. Still got a weird bridge. The sim hasn't learned how to depict bridges very well yet, since it's using satellite data. I want to stop descending. Can you just level out, okay? We're at 1350 right now. We are still below the glide slope. Gears down. Bouncing around. I really want to try to figure out what happened. Why did my PFD freeze up? I don't know. Or partially freeze up anyway. Well, the good news is it was a useful test of our how to handle an emergency, our backup artificial horizon, backup altimeter, airspeed indicator, all worked. Thank God. Saved our ass. I mean, I guess in weather like this, it would have been, you know, ultimately just fly the airplane. You'd have been fine.
Whiskey Bravo, cleared to land runway 5. Wind 023 at 26.
Cleared to land, Aero 3, Whiskey Bravo.
Cleared to land runway 5, Doppler Tree Whiskey Bravo.
Boy, the winds, they said 025 at 26, he said? Is that what he said? 023 at 26. Well, okay. I'm showing 16. I haven't, I'm increasingly certain of my theory that that's based on gusts, not actual. Okay, there you go. Flap time. I missed it when it was at notch 1, now notch 2, and now it should turn green here. There, boom, perfect, right on schedule. Got our gear down. Again, Gifley, gear, inertial separator, flaps, fuel, landing lights, and yaw damper deactivated. We're good. Outer marker indicator, that Scion O, indicating we're passing over the outer marker indicator. Very windy. Aircraft showing 16 knots from this direction. 2 mile final. Airspeed's good, 89 knots. Again, ground speed just 78 knots, so moving slower than it looks. Ironically, I'm looking at my watch right now. 11:03 Pacific time. And I believe I said that my estimated arrival time was 11:05. And I'm showing us 2 minutes, 14 seconds for the runway. So, not too shabby. Airspeed's perfect, 86. Let's go ahead and zoom in on our MFD. I have no idea what that was, but I'm so glad that I got it recorded. Because, not that anyone will ever watch this. Look at that truck. Man, that's so cool. Junkyard. Not that anyone will ever watch this, but if someone ever does, we're 500 AGL right now. I'm open to theories as to what happened there. Airspeed's 84, 85, bouncing around because of the wind. All right. There's the poppies. Red, 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 white. Holy Moses. This is quite a bouncy approach. I mean, I feel like a ping pong ball in a washing machine. All right, get my feet on the pedals. We're looking good. I'm going to deactivate autopilot. This should be interesting. Brace yourselves. Yeah, I'm hand flying the airplane right now. We've got 2 reds, 2 whites. Ugh. Oh, settle down, girl. There's the middle marker indicator. You see that yellow M that just lit up on the PFD. We'll get the inner marker indicator, maybe. 3 knots. Got 3 whites, 1 red, little high. Now 4 whites. Trim us for a little bit. Stubborn. Long runway though, so no reason to worry about trying to stick the landing. Just about to go idle. Now. And flare. Turn into that wind a little bit. Okay. All right, we're good. Don't need to worry about.
Whiskey Bravo turn next taxiway.
Don't need to worry about
Whiskey Bravo,
reverse thrusters or anything like that. It's kind of hard to visualize if you're not either in sim or in real life, but the winds are blowing so strongly at you that picture just sort of running into a really strong wind, or driving a car or a bike into a really strong wind. If you take your foot off the gas, you slow down fast, and that's the same thing in this. So and plus I saw this was a high-speed taxiway. If you look here, zoom in here on the airport, see that's how that turn is the one we just made. Nice big fat off ramp. You see what I mean? I wish I could zoom in a little more, but anyway, easy turn to make. So I didn't want to miss that opportunity. We are down safe. Now I gotta go to this. Okay, let's switch to taxi lights, turn off our pulse lights, clean up the flaps. My goodness. Well, I'm telling you, turn off our pitot heat. This game just never ceases to deliver surprises. And of course, I may have hinted at this to Norfolk Ground 121.9. You can taxi to park. You can pre-program in to this sim. Oh, I want to have a fuel failure. I want to have an oil pressure problem. Whatever. And you say, I want it to happen within 10 minutes, and so on and so forth. And it's great for training. But to be sure, I did not do that.
To general aviation parking via taxiway Alpha Docker Trey Whiskey Bravo.
I just want you to know, I did not do that on this flight. So when I saw that my PFD froze, man, oh man, that was interesting, to put it mildly. It came back to life, and I'm going to have to really watch this video again to see what it was I did, if anything, that caused it to come back to life. Because if that situation were to happen again, I need to know how to handle it. As I mentioned earlier, when it was presenting itself and I was trying to troubleshoot it, man, is it windy! Jesus. If that type of a situation happened, you know, in IMC, in instrument meteorological conditions, snow, fog, nighttime even, and all you have is your secondary backup instrument here with airspeed and horizontal situation indicator, or artificial horizon, I should say, altitude. I mean, yes, you can definitely avoid going into what they call a graveyard spiral, which is where you just lose spatial orientation and you think you're flying straight and level, and you are not, and you are in some doomed corkscrew descent right into the water or the ground, like JFK Jr. Tragic story, obviously. The human mind is so capable of convincing itself that everything's okay. So yes, my point in saying that is that with this, even if this is all I had, I would not necessarily in any way be able to guarantee our safe landing, because that doesn't provide you any information about where you are in space, other than whether you're turning left, turning right, whether you're level with the horizon, what your airspeed is, and what your altimeter is. So in an emergency situation, I mean, that's why this is a backup, right? In an emergency situation, it would be and is hugely helpful for just keeping your situation under control. Hey, you better get out of the way, dude. He's about to get chopped into pieces. Anyway, so it would keep you in from completely losing spatial orientation. Let me turn on the parking brake. Kill the engine here. Anyway, as I was saying, this thing would keep you from just crashing to the earth, because I'm here to tell you, you fly in IMC conditions, you cannot see out the window, you can't see anything. There's no point of reference, and it doesn't. If you're in the middle of a strong left turn, it doesn't feel like you are necessarily. So you have to trust this type of stuff. And when this just froze, you saw it. When this just froze, I mean, my goodness. I lucked out because the weather's perfect, and I also lucked out because the problem corrected itself. You know, I tried a couple things. I tried alternate static source. I pulled that to activate. I tried to pull the circuit breaker for the appropriate circuit for this to try to get it to reboot. I even shut down the battery, for heaven's sakes, and restarted it in a sort of last ditch attempt, and nothing doing. Anyway, 14 degrees outside here in Norfolk, Virginia on this beautiful fall day. 14, what is that? 14 is probably about 54 degrees roughly. Anyway, we're not here long. I have to get over to this glass shop, the Perry Glass Studio, and then we're off to New Hampshire here in, I don't know, maybe half hour, 45 minutes. But anyway, we're on the ground safe. Interesting problem threw itself at us, but we made it, and we're okay. And that's it for now.